Welcome to this video guide on FSCA Conduct Standard 1 of 2025, in compliance with the requirements of the FAIS Act. Welcome to this deep dive. We've tailored this session for you as an FSP navigating the evolving world of financial education. Oracle Compliance is pleased to support you in staying informed.
And today, our focus is squarely on the FSCA Conduct Standard 1 of 2025. This standard specifically targets financial education initiatives provided by financial institutions.
Right, think of this as us helping you cut through the noise. We've got the key documents here, the standard itself, the FSC statement on why it's needed and its impact, and also that consultation report.
Our mission today is pretty clear. Extract the crucial bits you absolutely need to know, especially around the standard's aims and, importantly, what it all means for your day-to-day work.
And looking at the background, that statement of need really highlights something significant, doesn't it? The ongoing issue of low financial literacy in South Africa.
It does. Despite various efforts over the years, the levels haven't improved as much as hoped. This standard seems to be a response aiming for more effective, better-governed financial education.
It really underscores the need for a change in approach and the consultation report. Did stakeholders agree this was needed?
Overwhelmingly, yes. The report shows strong support for implementing this conduct standard. There seems to be a recognition that it could genuinely lift the quality and consistency of financial education across the whole sector.
Interesting. So there's buy-in. Okay, let's dive into the specifics then. What about these governance arrangements the standard talks about?
Right, governance. This isn't just about tick a box.
No, definitely not. Just paperwork.
Exactly. The standard mandates well-appropriate and active governance arrangements. These need to oversee the entire life cycle, the design, the implementation, the monitoring, and the evaluation of these initiatives.
So continuous oversight, making sure they're actually working and still relevant.
Precisely. Continuous review of suitability and effectiveness is key, and it doesn't stop there. Institutions need systems, processes, policies, controls, essentially the whole framework.
For reporting right to the authority?
Yes, for reporting on these initiatives. And interestingly, it's both before implementation and after.
Before. That suggests the FSCA wants a heads up perhaps to see what's planned.
That seems likely early visibility, and one more crucial point on governance, ensuring the people involved, your employees or any service providers, actually have the necessary skills and expertise.
Makes perfect sense. Quality education needs qualified educators. Okay, let's move on to the design and development requirements. What's the aim here?
The core aim, as stated, is empowerment, empowering individuals and also SMEs to make better, more informed financial decisions.
It's not just about decisions, is it? It mentioned behavior change too.
That's right. Encouraging positive financial behavior. That leads to, and this is important, long-term skills development. It's about creating lasting capability.
Okay, building real financial muscle.
So to speak.
How prescriptive is it about how we deliver this education?
It allows for flexibility. You can use various delivery platforms, digital, in-person, blended, whatever works.
But there's a catch, I assume.
There is. The platform must be appropriate for the target audience. You need to ensure it actually reaches them effectively. A fancy app might not work for everyone.
Good point. And the content itself, what are the rules there?
The content has to be objective and impartial. That's foundational.
Based on solid ground?
Yes. Grounded in generally accepted methodologies, research current trends, and critically tailored to the needs of that specific target group, and also aligned with financial inclusion objectives.
So no generic one-size-fits-all content dump. And what if we're using virtual platforms, which many of us are?
The standard specifically says virtual platforms must be suitable for delivering effective financial education. You need to consider accessibility, usability, maybe even support mechanisms.
And they even mention practical things like load shedding. They do. Contingency plans for unforeseen circumstances are encouraged. It shows they're thinking about the practical realities of delivering these programs. Very South Africa specific, but very necessary. Okay, let's shift gears to a really big one. The restrictions around marketing and branding. Preventing marketing disguised as education.
This is absolutely central, a cornerstone. You can say the standard is crystal clear on this.
Lay out for us.
Financial education initiatives cannot be used for excessive marketing of a specific brand or institution, period.
And no pushing specific products either.
Correct. They also cannot be used for marketing or selling specific financial products or services. The FSCA is drawing a very firm line here.
So that those sessions that end with a subtle push towards product X or service Y, those are out.
That's exactly the kind of thing this aims to prevent the FSCA's own communication too of 2025. And the FAQs that came with it explicitly state that initiatives primarily aimed at marketing products or providers are excluded from the definition of financial education.
The focus has to be purely educational.
Purely educational. The content must be brand agnostic.
What about branding the initiative itself, like XYZ Bank's financial skills program?
Some non-access branding of the initiative might be okay. A logo, perhaps, but the actual educational content must remain impartial. No weaving in product plugs.
And the consultation report showed the authority feels quite strongly about this.
Very strongly. The report actually states, and I quote, "The authority feels strongly that there should be no branding in the content of the consumer education material."
Wow, that's unambiguous.
It really leaves no room for doubt. They want to ensure trust and that the education genuinely benefits the consumer, not just the provider's sales targets.
It makes sense for building long-term trust. Okay, so if we're providing this genuine education, how do we prove it's working? Let's talk measurability.
Right? Measurability is key. The standard requires that the outcomes of these initiatives must be measurable where possible anyway.
To show effectiveness.
Impact. Exactly. It's about demonstrating that the education is actually making a difference. Are people learning? Are attitudes changing? Ideally, is behavior shifting?
And how we measure it needs to fit the program.
Absolutely. The methods used must be appropriate for the specific initiative and directly related to the intended outcome. A quiz might work for knowledge, but measuring change in savings habits needs something different. Maybe longer-term tracking, if feasible.
And it's not just a one-off check.
No, continuous monitoring and evaluation are required. Monitoring involves systematic data collection during the initiative and
the evaluation?
Evaluation is the more objective assessment of the design, the implementation, and importantly, the results. The definitions used here actually align with OECD standards, showing a commitment to best practice.
That's good to know. Now, you mentioned where possible for measurability. Does that tie into the proportionality idea? I remember the consultation report touched on this.
Yes, exactly. The report acknowledged concerns, especially from smaller players, perhaps. So the measurability requirement has been qualified.
Meaning?
Meaning it allows for flexibility. Its application should be proportional to the institution's nature, size, complexity, risk profile, and also the nature of the specific initiative and its audience.
So a smaller institution wouldn't necessarily need the same complex measurement framework as a huge bank.
That's the idea. It avoids an undue burden while still requiring a commitment to demonstrating effectiveness in an appropriate way.
That's a very important nuance. Okay, what about reporting all this back to the authority?
Institutions will be required to report information on their initiatives to the FSCA.
Do we know what information, how often? In what format?
Not yet fully. The exact form, manner, content, and timing are still to be determined by the authority. They've said they will communicate this later.
So, watch this space.
Definitely. But the consultation report did mention something important here.
Which is?
The reporting format itself will be subject to public consultation.
So the industry gets a say before it's finalized.
Correct. The aim seems to be gathering data on the number, nature, and scope of initiatives happening across the sector, likely to inform their oversight.
Okay, we've mentioned proportionality a few times now. In specific contexts like measurement, does it apply more broadly across the whole standard?
Yes. It's a fundamental principle underpinning the entire standard.
So all the requirements, governance, design, reporting, can be scaled?
Precisely. They should be applied in a way that's proportional to the institution's nature, size, complexity, risk profile, and the specific initiative itself. It's designed to be adaptable and avoid a one-size-fits-all approach that could unfairly burden smaller FSPs.
That flexibility is crucial. Finally, just the practicalities, the official name, and when does this all kick in?
The official title is Requirements for Financial Institutions Providing Financial Education Initiatives 2025.
Okay, Conduct Standard 1 of 2025 is easier to say. And the start date?
It comes into effect 12 months after its publication date, which was the 26th of March 2025.
So, March 2026. That gives everyone a year-long transition period.
Exactly. Time to understand, plan, and implement the necessary changes to become compliant.
Right. So wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear this conduct standard is a pretty significant development for financial education in South Africa.
Absolutely. We've seen that core focus on preventing marketing disguised as education, which is huge. Plus, the clear requirements for governance, design, measurement, and reporting. It's all about boosting integrity and effectiveness.
And while yes, there will be compliance efforts involved for all of us,
the intended outcome is better financial literacy and well-being for consumers. Understanding these requirements now is key to developing programs that meet the rules and actually help people.
Definitely. This really sets a new benchmark.
It does. And navigating this might bring up specific questions for your institution. Remember, Oracle Compliance welcomes you to reach out. We're here to offer tailored assistance.
That's right. We can help you ensure your financial education initiatives align perfectly with this new conduct standard and make a real positive contribution. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.